The Venezuelan people have been suffering for many years. Ever since Maduro's successor and Maduro have been in power, they have relied on oil and way too much, which has caused the people to suffer. Making it a state-owned commodity has caused the people to suffer. The Venezuelan economy, when be it going through economic recessions or not funding its own economy, is a failure of the government. Maduro took it the next step. He was a dictator. He bribed journalists. He hanged whoever he didn't like. He manipulated the voting system and made himself the president, even though he lost. The people have suffered. They are living in poverty. Their daily income, monthly income is $2.35. That is within the range of insane levels of poverty under the UN rule. My first claim is that citizens of Venezuela have the moral right to live with liberty. The right of liberty is one of the most important moral rights we have as human beings, to be able to live autonomously without rule and without a regime to control our every actions and thoughts. The right of liberty allows us to be able to be free people in a society where we don't feel oppressed, and we are able to feel the freedom to be able to express however we want. That is one of the most important rights we have as humans. The people of Venezuela do not have this. They are afraid that someone would tip Maduro and they would die. They are afraid that if they speak out, they'll get hanged, they'll get shot, or they'll go to prison. Their loved ones would die, and their loved ones would miss them. Maduro was extremely authoritarian and would control his entire country. This caused the people to be unable to speak out and say what they believe. And I think that this is a moral impingement of the basic human rights of liberty of every Venezuelan person in the country. This causes the Venezuelan people to be unable to have any open-minded discussions, any free thought, and this causes the entire society to be unable to create an education, to be able to create any substance in its endeavors. Its education system is poor, its economy is super dependent on the oil trade, its technology is sparse, its economy is extremely bad with recent hyperinflation, and so the root cause is due to the fact that these people do not have or do not feel the moral do not feel the moral worth every human should have in the country that they live in. The reason why I think the US coming in is beneficial to the Venezuelan people is because the US has removed this authoritarian regime, has removed this authoritarian dictator, and given the people their rights back, their rights to liberty, their rights to be able to think for themselves autonomously. And the US has a track record of showing that it really prioritizes this moral right, this human right, especially in one of their very famous constitutions, where they say the Declaration of Independence highlights the right, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so removing this dictator gives the people the room to breathe, the ability to be able, autonomous humans, to be able to live in a society where they have the liberty to act autonomously. This will allow the society to be able to have more ideas, more actions to benefit the entire society as a whole. The op would say that it's a moral impingement of from the US to step into another country's affairs. What I would like to say for that is that the effects of the effects of giving back the rights of liberty to all the Venezuelan people is worth more than anything op can say, anything the US can take away, because the right to liberty is one of the most basic human rights that gives us meaning in life. Without being autonomous, without being autonomous, independent humans, we do not feel meaning in our lives. And the US has given this right back to its Venezuelan people. And the Venezuelan people are happy. They're ecstatic that the dictator is finally gone. My second claim would be the fact that the US coming in to help oil production is a net benefit to Venezuela's economy. Venezuela has been dependent on oil for many years. The big problem was that when Hugo, which was Maduro's successor, took over, he made oil a state-owned commodity, and therefore no private companies were able to own the oil. This caused a huge economic downturn as Venezuela was too reliant on oil, and when oil prices dropped, the Venezuelan economy just tanked, and what Hugo did was to just print money, and therefore, the Venezuelan currency has depreciated to an incredibly low amount. And so, therefore, like I said previously, the economy of Venezuela is in ruins. Because of this, now, because of the lack of money, they are unable to create production and economies of scale to be able to mine oil cheaply. And so now, even though Venezuela has the biggest oil reserves in the world, they are unable to mine oil effectively and cost efficiently, and even profitably. They are losing money on oil for some parts of their country. And so they don't have the funding, they don't have the resources, and their people are uneducated to be able to get the oil out. And Venezuela is looking like it's going to be in a very tough state. And the trajectory is, it looks like it's going to go down. The US coming in is an incredibly timely help for the Venezuelan people. The US has a vested interest to be able to want oil. They want to get oil for their oil refineries because they want to use heavy oil to boost their light oil refineries. They want to have oil to make money. They want to have oil for many different reasons. They have many incentives to get the heavy oil to US land. So therefore, US companies would go into Venezuela and they would go and produce and mine and refine all these oil. They have the resources, they have the expertise, and they have the infrastructure to be able to do this efficiently and profitably. This allows the Venezuelan economy to have a piece of the pie, which will allow them to take that money to boost other parts of their society, notably education and the workforce readiness. This will allow Venezuela a golden opportunity to use the oil money that they cannot, the oil reserves that they cannot use, to boost their economy so that they are able to not go into financial ruin, so that they are able to get out of this pit that they made for themselves, and so that they wouldn't be dependent on the oil in the future. When they create smart, intellectual, and hardworking individuals, it would allow the economy to be boosted out of this pit. And therefore, US gives Venezuela this golden opportunity to be able to get out of this pit. Thank you.